3340 News at 10 continues.
We love highlighting these types of stories here.
Yes.
These Miracle Monday stories feature people who encourage and inspire, and tonight's story focuses on perseverance.
That's it. And 11-year-old Braden Butler, injured in a sports accident, made a recovery no one thought was possible. ABC 3340 Sarah Snyder shares it even stunned Braden's doctors.
About a year.
An author once wrote,
It's come a long way.
"Every mountaintop is within reach
Feet to the left, feet to the left.
if you just keep climbing.
Got it.
Even if
Got it.
the mountains are walls
Come on, finish it.
and the rocks, colorful footholds.
Nice, BB. Good work. Good work.
Stronger.
I got you, dude.
Something 11-year-old Braden Butler knows well. Before climbing, this was his first love. Braden was training in hopes of reaching a national motocross championship. He was just one race shy of clinching a second-place state finish.
Me and my dad had been practicing it all day, and I had finally got it. So we said, like, one more. And this last one, I go around and I shift up, and I hit the jump. What we think happened was in midair was the gears locked up.
A flip, a crash, and the end of a dream.
Well, what was going through your mind when I guess you kind of woke up and
Nothing.
realized what happened?
Nothing.
15 minutes down the road, they called and told me to get back to the track.
Braden's mom, Christy, rode in the lifesaver helicopter to the hospital. Emergency crews on board prepared her for the worst.
When we got there, they wouldn't let me go through the door. They just kind of stopped me and kept going with him. And I had to sit in a room for a long time before someone came and kind of told us what was going on.
Doctors told the Butlers Braden's head injury left him with a brain bleed and seizures impacting the left side of his body. They told the family to get ready for life in a wheelchair.
People that we didn't even know from other churches were doing prayer circles for him. But I don't know what the wait was like. It was just traumatic. It was just all you can do is hope that they come back to tell you he's okay. He's going to be okay.
When Braden finally woke up, he made a decision.
I was just determined. There wasn't a reason.
He's just always had something in him that pushes him.
After weeks of intense physical therapy, finally, movement.
And he's telling us, I'm walking out of here.
And he did. Braden dropped his cane at the doorstep and walked his first steps across the threshold of that hospital exit.
And we held the cane actually back so he could take a few steps walking out that children's door.
Even surprising his doctors.
This is really a miracle recovery. We don't see this in a lot of our moderate traumatic brain injuries.
Braden is out to prove when life changes your course, you find a new path to scale.
I'm just really impressed and inspired.
I think it's a miracle that we have him sitting here today.
Braden says that he still has trouble using his left side. He's going through physical therapy and is not slowing down. He has since taken up, of course, climbing, as well as mountain biking, wakeboarding, and soccer. Sarah Snyder, ABC 3340 News.
Some of life's best stories are when the seemingly impossible becomes possible.
Tales of hope at the end of affliction or overcoming odds stacked so high that you're not quite sure you're ever going to make it out.
That's right. And Jimmy Roberson, a paper mill worker and former county commissioner, knows quite well the odds are tough to beat. Sarah Snyder shares his story.
How you doing, sweetie? Good to see you, Dory. It's been a while.
Yes, it has.
It has.
It's easy to get lost in curvy, busy hospital hallways.
Chris, my man.
But this path, Jimmy Roberson
Good to see you, buddy.
knows well.
I try to take care of them, too, whenever I come.
It's the walk where a miracle happened.
The good Lord's given me a second chance.
A trip to the lake in 2013 started a journey.
The lake just started spinning, and I got real dizzy, and then I got so weak I fell to my knees.
Doctors diagnosed him with severe aplastic anemia. After a series of procedures, nothing seemed to work.
My doctors just basically told me that without a transplant, you've probably got 6 to 9 months to live.
He needed bone marrow, and doctors couldn't find a match.
There was no match in my family. And then the doctors here at UAB pursued further, and there was no match in the United States. So then I started getting really concerned.
Jimmy loves the beach. He told his wife he wanted to take one last trip to the coast before time ran out. When they got back to town, another walked down these halls, but this time his doctors told him he had won the lottery.
I'll take the transplant rather than the lottery.
A 1 in 24 million chance.
And when we met then, they had found one perfect match.
Jimmy had to wait 2 full years before he could find out who that perfect match was. But finally, a face and a name. A 27-year-old nurse in Hamburg, Germany, who along with her roommate signed up to give. The Roberson family wanted to say thank you face to face, so they sent her an invitation to visit Birmingham. And after a time, she accepted.
What do you say to an individual that has done so much to save your life?
Her visit, the beginning of a new friendship.
Oh, I was excited that finally I could help someone.
That's what's so amazing is that there are donors out there available for individuals, and sometimes we find that perfect match.
I've got a little special angel in Germany now, and without that young lady, I wouldn't be here today.
The miracle match, giving Jimmy the gift of time.
But it's been a good journey, and I just thank that young lady for giving me a second chance in life.
Yesterday, November the 12th, marks 3 years since Jimmy's transplant. He says he celebrates every passing year with a re-birthday cake, thankful for another year with family and friends. Sarah Snyder, ABC 3340 News.
Stories you'll remember, stories that will inspire you, stories about miracles.
Colton Moore fits all three. ABC 3340 Sarah Snyder shares his story.
7-year-old Colton Moore is living with spina bifida, a condition where the vertebrae didn't form properly around the spinal cord. What to many is a severe lifelong hindrance, for him is a message of hope and a puzzle to his doctors, who say his very existence is a miracle.
For many of us, a smile and a fist bump is just what the doctor ordered. If that's true, Colton Moore is out to change the world. One hallway, one classroom, one person at a time.
He brings a smile to everybody that he meets, and everybody that meets him remembers him.
7 years ago, his mom Jennifer got the news that would break any mother's heart.
They pulled me into the doctor's office and told me that he had a birth defect of spina bifida. He was born on March 8th. They took him straight from me into the NICU.
Colton had 3 surgeries before he was 2 days old. Doctors told Jennifer he wouldn't be able to talk, move his arms, his legs, or even his head.
He's come a really long way. He's definitely a miracle.
But 32 surgeries later, he can do all of those things pretty well.
He communicates very well and perfectly all on his own, which is a miracle.
Every doctor I've ever come in contact with that's seen his MRI will tell you when they look at it, it takes their breath away. And then they'll come out and look at him and go, that's not the same kid. And I'm like, there's just no reason to explain it. The doctors will tell me every time what his MRI shows and what he's doing, he shouldn't be doing according to the medical books.
His doctors say it's unexplainable. A tumor in the back of his head, larger than most can survive, and a condition that leaves many immobile, unable to take care of themselves.
I believe truly in my heart all the prayers to God is why Colton has come as far as he has.
Those prayers go both ways. Every Friday before the football game, Colton prays for the Odenville team and leads them out onto the field. His preschool teacher, now assistant principal, told us Colton is often the one doing the teaching. Lessons his young classmates, even teachers themselves, and an entire community will never forget.
They don't think anything different about him. They accept him, they love him, he's part of them.
When he was born, I never really questioned God on why he was born with what he was born with, but now watching him throughout his everyday life, I know exactly why, because I see the lives that God is using him and the lives that he touches and changes.
Colton is now back in the hospital again this week. His mom told us he has a respiratory virus and he needed extra support from his ventilator and oxygen. She said even at his sickest, though, he never complains. In fact, when you ask about how he's doing, he says, "I'm good." She says as soon as he can get off oxygen, he'll be able to go home. Sarah Snyder, ABC 3340 News.